Finally reaching the classroom after the usual walk from the dormitories, I stand inside, my eyes immediately turn to the third seat from the left back row, Hanako's seat. It's empty, and after glancing around the classroom, it looks like she isn't here yet. The two girls from the newspaper club are here, in the two seats to the left of Hanako's. As are Shizune and Misha, but that's about it. We exchange morning greetings before I take my seat. I have to admit that this is a bit of a relief. This gives me a few more minutes to think. Not that I have been doing so previously. Ever since our trip to town, Hanako's been on my mind. I still don't know what to make of my relationship with Hanako. I like her. I can admit that much to myself. I want to protect and shield her from the pain she feels. I really don't think my feelings are just those of relationship or friendship anymore. But that said, I feel like I don't even know her. If I made a move on her, how would she take it? If she's in an emotional state that allows her to make a reasonable decision about a relationship, how would she cope with anything that might have happened afterwards? There's also the possibility that I'm just completely misinterpreting Hanako. Not a difficult thing to do with someone whose social skills seem to be so underdeveloped. The sound of footsteps come up to the door makes me perk up. It ends up just being Miki. She barely acknowledges my existence when I actually make eye contact with her. I'm not about to look away, but another person comes in not long after she takes her seat. I feel myself freeze as I see Hanako enter. This is an irrational reaction, but I have no idea about how I should act or what I should say to her. For a moment, our eyes meet. And then, just as quickly, she looks away and moves to her seat without saying a single word. As is now usual for the period, following the classes, my face is buried deep in a book that I find thoroughly uninteresting. Studying is not something that comes natural to me. I didn't study a lot before coming to Yamaku, and until now I've largely managed to coast through it on talent alone. That's frustrating that I can't do that anymore. Judging by the faces of the other few students in the library, I don't think I'm alone in my distaste for this. Misery loves company, I suppose. I decided to spend lunchtime with Hanako, since we haven't had lunch together for a while now. I may have well spent the time studying though, aside from pathetically not small snippets of small talk. There was barely a word said between us. Why does she keep doing this to me? I just want to protect her and be there for her, but every time I feel like we're coming closer, we end up further away. Are you busy? Hanako! Whoa! My head whips around in surprise, causing her to read in fright. That was bad timing. If I hadn't been thinking about her at the very moment, I probably wouldn't have been nearly so startled. Sorry, you just startled me. I find myself staring at her longer than I should, so I go back to text lying on the table in front of me. I feel more than I'm just staring at the words rather than actually reading. I get the feeling Naoko can notice as well, so I sigh and close the book. What's up? I was just wondering what you were reading. She looks a little downcast after my reaction to seeing her. Giving up on the prospect of getting more work done, I get up and return the book to its place on the nearby shelf. Just an English textbook. Has it helped? It helped me realize that I don't like English, yeah. Naoko gives a small giggle. I may muse on the strange state of our friendship, but I do know that little gestures are things that I wouldn't see were I not at least some distance closer than to her than we first met. I look at her for a moment, thinking about what I should do, and don't know what to say. I don't know about her. It's a slightly depressed topic. Is something wrong? If I wanted to know more about her, maybe I should have stopped being evasive about it. Talking with Lily as an equal rather than being constantly in fear of causing to become upset worked fine. So I should try and be straightforward approach with Anako as well. Hey Anako, do you mind if I ask you a question? I don't mind. Oh. I want to know what your life was like. Your life before coming to Yamaku. She hesitates. I briefly consider backing off, but she seems to be taking the question quite seriously. I sit and watch her, silently letting her take their time. She's not making eye contact with me and looks almost as if she's arguing with herself into letting herself open up to me more. Her answer finally comes in a stiff, almost reluctant nod. She looks far more tense than she did before I asked. Okay, but in return, you have to tell me about your life as well. Okay, wait, before this I need to, BRB. Alright, I'm back. I don't know. I nod and follow her as she begins to walk out the library so we can talk. By now, most of the students have already left the main building, so apart from a few people hovering in around club rooms, the hallways are largely empty. I guess we'll start with you coming to Yamaku. Let's see. Or me, I guess. I was in the hospital when my parents first told me about Yamaku's academy. The doctor told me I shouldn't go to my old school anymore. My parents agreed and persuaded me to apply for Yamaku, even though it would mean living away from them for the first time. It must have been hard for you. Well, yeah, I have to admit it was. My parents both worked long hours and full time, so having to live reasonably independently wasn't like anything new to me. It was the fact that I was going to a school for disabled students that hit hardest, I think. And you? Small groups of chatting girls passed us as we near the stairs, with Nako pressing herself tightly to my side until we reached the ground floor. She doesn't usually come this close while she was walking in the school, so I'm a little put off. The staff at our orphanage offered me some options on what I could do. Middle school hadn't been good, so I thought that Yamaku might be better. It was isolated, and I thought it'd be easier to get by here, with most of the others being disabled. It's pretty ironic that the reason Hanako looks forward to Yamaku are the exact reasons I hated the idea. To me, it felt like I was being shunted somewhere away from the society and everyone I knew. To Hanako, that was probably the inviting prospect. What was life like at the orphanage? It was okay. The staff there was nice. They took care of us. The children there didn't talk to me as much, but I didn't really want to talk with them either, so I didn't mind. The orphanage had a little library, so I started to read to pass the time. The staff didn't mind it because it made me easier to handle than many of the other children. You didn't make any friends there? No, I think my life was on hold during that time. I knew that, but I didn't mind. To think her life was on hold for all that time, though. Depending on when the fire happened, that was a large chunk of her life. No parents, no friends. Apparently, No relatives. We walked through the door into the courtyard. I expect I need to avert my eyes from the sun, but by now it's all well into sunset. Hanako's eyes keep flicking to me, so I look away from her for a bit. What was it like in the hospital? I quickly clear my thoughts and try to refocus them. I hesitate for a bit, but I know that I have to tell her. I'm close enough for her to feel comfortable telling me this, so it's only fair I recuperate. Or, was that recoup? No, it wasn't. It was reciprocate. Yeah. It was okay at times, but at others, it was pretty bad. At the beginning, everyone sent their sympathies and came to visit often. It was just like breaking an arm or something. Meeting all my friends was one of the good times. Inako came in often as well, more often than anyone else. But there were bad times too. When my friends slowly stopped visiting and began to realize how grave my situation was, it reminded me that this wasn't just a broken limb, but that I was now a different person than before. Even the times Iwanako would spend with me became torturous. By the end, we were reduced to silence, whereas before she'd be talking constantly. But that's how Iwanako always was. She may have been a fragile person, but she would talk constantly to try and hide the fact. And not about anything in particular, just talk. I think the 3 lowest parts would have been when my parents told me I would be going to my old school. I wouldn't be going to my old school anymore. My birthday passing while in the hospital, and when Iwanako left for the last time. We leave the school building behind us as we begin to follow the main path through the gardens. There may have been an old bystander in the school buildings, but outside, we're particularly alone. What was your middle school like? I liked it. I grew up in a really metro area, and the middle school was nearby, so it was pretty crowded. I didn't mind it, probably because I'm used to being in crowds and around lots of other people. I got good marks and I played soccer with my friends. I spent a fair bit of time hanging out with them after school as well. Did get teased a bit over my hair though. Your hair? I grimaced a little as I put my hand over my hair to cover it. I kept getting tufts and strands that refused to flatten or stay when I wanted them, and my mother would let me get my hair shaved. Wouldn't let me get my hair shaved. It had a habit of popping out no matter how much I tried to push it down. It still does a little. I was worried I'd get that reply. So you have like an ahoge, or whatever, ahoge, A-H-O-G-E, whatever that is. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I give a mild laugh and wave it off. It's fine, I know it still does. It feels strange to have someone act so interested in my past. If it were anyone else, I'd think they were just acting polite. But that's something I really didn't think Kanako would do. Or if she did, she'd do it so badly that it would be obvious. There are a number of girls in the common room on the ground floor, and Anako presses herself to my side once more as we pass them. I expect her to break off, but instead she continues to cling on to me as we walk towards the stairway. Where are we going? Why are we in the girl... Something about the way she's holding on to me feels different from the usual. I am left in deep thought as we walk up the stairs and down the hallway. That's only when we stop that I look up and realize that I've been following her without question. Why did we come to your dormitory room? She looks straight at the door without so much of a glance in my direction. Hanako? She moves to answer but stops herself. Instead, she silently breaks from my side and opens their door and steps inside. I look in the hallway, a bit lost as to exactly where I should go. Shrugging, I decide to follow her, since I don't have any reason to do otherwise. Yeah, I think this is happening. Hanako stands in the middle of her room and looks straight at me. It's unnerving when she does this, but this is as it's such an unusual action for her. I open my mouth to speak, but she preempts me. Could you close and lock the door? Hanako's hands reaches for her chest, grabbing her blouse at her heart. I I don't think I should show this part. I turn and lock the door, then freeze. Alright. Here we go. I think this part might be fine, but what comes after is a whole different story. I'm not too sure this is gonna be good for me. I don't know actually. Let's just roll with it. The atmosphere is beginning to feel quite strange. This feeling is only made me more profound when I hear the curtains being pulled behind me. It's gonna be night soon. We're a guy and a girl in a bedroom. She's closing the curtains, and I'm shutting and locking the door. She can't really have that in mind. Can she? I gulp and turn around very, very slowly. Hanako is in the center of the room, but hasn't turned back to face me. You told me about your past, so I have to tell you mine. She takes a deep, shuddering breath and pauses for a number of seconds. Her hands move to her ribbons and begin to tug, all but confirming my thoughts. Hanako, please, don't say anything. Just let it happen. Let it happen, Asao. I obediently say, and hushed, as she slips off her ribbon and continues to unbutton her blouse before working the clip of her bra. The process is slow. Perhaps it just feels slow because of what she's doing. I'm not sure. One moment. One moment. I'm just gonna check. Check something. Alright, so, yep. Made sure we had the sale content, and, you know what? Let's just, I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it. I obediently stay hushed as she slips her off her ribbon and continues to unbutton her blouse before working the clip on her bra. The process is slow. Perhaps it just feels slow because of what she's doing. I'm not sure. What? I know there's gonna be... I know there's gonna be a sex scene, obviously. But since we have adult content turned off, that won't be a thing. So, maybe I'll just, like, release the audio or something. Just for that. Because there's no way I'm showing that on YouTube. Frozen to the spot, all I can do is watch as Hanako, hands trembling, unclips her skirt and lets it drop to the ground. See, I don't even know if this is okay. This is like borderline, pretty much. Finally, she takes her blouse in her hands and draws it off, her bra falling from her shoulders, and so Hanako stands in the middle of the room, all but bared, save for her stocking and underwear. This is me. All of me. Oh, okay, all my eyes are immediately drawn to the scar near the back skin of her right side. It's of a similar texture to of her face, but there's also stretched taut of covering a much larger area. Oh, scarring is by far the worst of the shoulder and buttocks and thigh. Just as hard has redefined my life, this is an event that redefined Hanako's. I had seen them when I had met her. I had been shocked not only at the sight, but also at the idea that something like this was survivable. But after having had time to get used to the idea, after seeing the scars on her face, hands and collars, my reaction is more measured. My reaction is right now is not due to her scarring, but to her body. Please, Miss Al, you have to have consent first. Don't. The fire happened when I was 8 years old. It was night and we were sleeping when it started. Uncle's voice trembles, the shaking of her blouse, giving away the fact that her hands are doing just the same. I curled into the ball when the fire swept over me. My mother tried to shield me. That's the only reason I lived. Sal, please don't fuck. Don't fucking think about your dick now. Don't think with your dick now. Hanako's eyes begin to moisten, her voice crackling over under the combined pressure of exposing herself to me like this, and reliving those painful memories for so long ago. I want to say something, anything to make me feel better. I can't though. I feel completely useless when faced with a situation like this. She's forcing herself to come so close, yet it's at times like this that I feel more distant to her. I'm sorry for making you see this. There's no point in denying the obvious. I think what I should do now, and what Naoko wants me to say now, is the truth. What I genuinely honestly believe. It doesn't matter. You're a wonderful person now, Naoko. Your body doesn't change that. She looks at me for a long time, her breathing uneven, and she tries to remain steadily amidst her emotions we're both feeling. It feels like she's looking at me, then she's looking through me. I might have done that a little too soon. I slowly walk towards her and gently place my hand on her shoulder. As she lets go of her blouse, she gasps a little, and not in fright, but in simple startlement. Being so close to her causes my mind to become a jumbled feeling, and the scarring on her shoulder. Plain to see the red leather-like to the touch conflicts strangely with her otherwise soft skin and silky dark hair. Naoko is a girl, with all that entails. She's taller than just usual for a woman, but still, has all the curves in all the right places. The nape of her neck is visibly thanks to her slung over her shoulder. It's alluring. I know I'm not pretty, like Lily. I just wanted you to see me, the real me. I've already seen the real you, though. You didn't need to take off your clothes for that. This was the thing this is when I should have, yeah. That is not disabling adult content. Her lips are open just a little. She just lets out a sharp breath as without thinking. I breathlessly lean forward and press my lips to hers. The kiss only lasts for a fleeting moment before our faces part. Our breathing quick and nervous. The feeling of Nako's mouth finger lingers, and her eyes remain locked to mine. Trembling a little, I remove my tie and begin undoing the buttons of my shirt. You don't... Nako remains standing there, where she is, looking at the ground in front of her, rather than watching me undress. What are you doing, Sal? On one hand, I think about that, and I've always been somewhat self-conscious of my body, but my scarring has made that quite a lot worse. On the other, though, this atmosphere feels very strange. Okay, obviously, you both have a thing, but you have to at least ask if it's okay, right? My shirt part. Okay, that was just me. That was me talking. Not. Okay, my shirt falls to the floor in a heap, as untidy and crumpling as Hanako's blouse and skirt. Hanako's entire body visibly flinches at the sound of the zipper of my trousers being pulled down. My trousers join my shirt on Hanako's floor next to the bed. As she does, my socks in short measure, I hesitate before taking off my boxers and ending up leaving them on. They represent one last hurdle I don't think I can overcome quite yet. Sheer embarrassment stops me, along with not wanting Hanako getting even more worked up. My unease about the situation has also left me needing my own stimulation. Hanako. She gives a nod without so much as glancing at me, makes her way to the bed as I do. She gives as if her legs were wooden sticks. I find it amusing if I weren't doing exactly the same thing. I take the initiative, turning around and sitting on the side of the bed. I look to her face and invite her to take the seat either next to me or in front of me, but end up awkwardly looking down to stop myself from staring at her body. And then, after a couple seconds, it ends. The sound of Hanako's breathing in my own rings in my ears, almost painfully, loudly. Hanako holds an arm over her face, her mouth open and gulping in air. As I hold myself over her, suddenly my arms almost give way and my vision distorts as if someone grabbed it and pulled sideways. I let myself fall sideways onto the bed beside the panting Hanako for fear of falling into her instead. We both lie beside each other, naked and pressed against one another in order to fit on a bed made for a single person. My eyes try to focus on the ceiling, to not much success. Pulling a blanket over us to starve off the cold is all I can do. So, I looked at, okay, wait. Okay, wait. Alright, whatever. What I was saying was, I went through that with the adult content disabled, like 3 times. The first one was, like, of cantaloupe. And the second one was of... What was it? What was the second? I can't remember. But they were different. All 3 that were different. So I kind of want to see what other ones they had. That one was pretty good. That was a pretty good one. The only sound in the room is that of our breathing, and the sweat that had accumulated on my body feels uncomfortable. We are both physically and emotionally exhausted and a complete mess all over. My vision slowly begins to return as normal. It's normal as I continue to stare at the ceiling, but my limbs still feel like jelly. I try to concentrate on my chest and find and find its beat irregularly and mildly painful. This is a dangerous time. I have to think through and not panic lest I make my situation any worse. With a huge effort, I take control of my erratic breathing, forcing myself to make long, deep breaths. I count half a dozen before I start to feel physically calm again, and press my hands to my chest, assuring myself my heart to be back to normal. I'm okay. I turn the face towards Hanako, who's already looking at me. Her expression looks pretty dazed, but underneath that, she is definitely a look of concern. She realized what happened. I'm okay. Everything's back to normal. I found myself barely able to get the words out between breaths, but I think sex would tire a normal body out this much. Or I don't think so. So I have no doubt my condition's at least partially at fault. Why did my body have to do this right now? All thoughts of my heart through, though, are pushed aside as I see my wide smile forming on Nanako's face. As always, I smile back without any thought. Hanako's smile has always been infectious, and it's almost like a childlike sweetness and earnesty. Something that sets her apart from anyone else I know. Right now, we don't need words. Everything we want to communicate to each other, we can share just fine without them.